I've been doing a lot of research lately, and I just needed a way to have a power source when I'm at the field. So I've been contemplating about getting an external battery or a generator, and what I ended up going with is a Life battery. So the battery I ended up getting that we're going to be unboxing today is a 24-volt 100 amp hour battery. Now, these batteries have been gaining some popularity because they are extremely lightweight, very easy to maintain, and it's pretty much the best bang for your buck because if you have a generator, there's a lot of maintenance that you have to do compared to just charging up a battery, and it's just a lot easier to work with. So this battery is called a PUP battery that I've been seeing online. They give us this really nice manual to go through, which I'll show you what's inside much later on in the video. And it's spelled PUPVWMHB. So I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but that's what they call this battery. Now, this battery pretty much has 5,000 plus cycles that you could do on it, and it could last you up to 10 years. It measures at around 13.5 inches by 7.5 by about 9.5 inches. So it's fairly small. The minimum discharge temperature on this is around -4 degrees Fahrenheit. The charging temperature ranges are between 32 Fahrenheit to 149 degrees Fahrenheit, and the discharge range is between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 158 degrees Fahrenheit. After seeing so many reviews on YouTube, I realized that purchasing a Life battery through Amazon could be very difficult due to the fact that some of these batteries aren't built very well, and Amazon does not have a return policy on the majority of these Life batteries due to the hazardous material. So I bought mine through Wal-Mart, and of course the first thing I see the second I open it is some condensation on the front side of the battery, which was already questioning. So this is why I wanted to buy one from Walmart, so that way if something was bad I could easily return it. Thankfully the top of the battery seals looked like they were perfectly fine, so I didn't really know where that condensation was actually coming from. What makes this more comical is the manual actually states that the battery should stay away from wet surfaces, so I ended up just wiping it down with a rag. I pulled out my voltmeter just to check the voltage of the battery to see where it came in at the second it was shipped, and of course I tried to test it with the plastic caps still on, and after measuring the battery, it ended up being 26.3 volts. And since this is a 8-cell battery, that would equate to about 3.28 volts per cell. Now, the second thing I actually found quite questionable about this battery is the corner was quite tacky until I realized it was almost as if this whole battery was completely rebranded with a sticker sitting on top of another sticker. The handles were actually quite nice, very strong and quite sturdy. They have a really nice label of the model that you have in the corner here, and on the back here there is just a bunch of warning notes as well as an attention note about making sure to charge your battery if it hits 10%. Now, I wanted to get out my scale because these batteries are advertised between 45 to 50 pounds, but mine surprisingly came in at 40.8 pounds, which is quite light. Now, taking off these caps, they do come with M8 by 10 millimeter screws, as well as these standoff terminals that will just make your terminals protrude out from the battery if you were to need to use an alligator clip. Both were able to thread in quite nicely. I did have a spare set of leads that would be able to fit a M8 screw, so this is just a quick example of what it would look like if you wanted to thread in a ring terminal on the positive side, and then I used the negative terminal to thread in onto the standoff, and just by installing both sides you could pick whichever type of connection you would like. Now, with these same leads, the other end of them have a 5 millimeter connector on them, which will plug into this iCharger that I plan on using at the field when I'm trying to charge up batteries at the field. So here it clearly powers on, and on the bottom left side here you could tell there's 26.3 volts in that battery. Now, as far as charging goes, I ended up buying synchronous cables, one of which was a cable that will plug in to the positive and negative side of channel 1 and 2 that will help me charge this battery up to 50 amps in total. This charger can actually charge 30 amps per side, but if I want to speed charge this battery, I can use up to 50 amps using this synchronous cable. Now, you saw a balance lead originally, and I realized that I actually did not need one, so I might use that for another project, but this battery actually contains a 100 amp hour BMS module, which does all the balancing inside the battery for me without having to connect balance leads. Now, this battery is capable of continuous current of 100 amps or a peak current of 300 amps at 5 seconds. Currently, I have 4 sets of 6S 5000 milliamp batteries that I use on my brand new Goblin Raw. And with this new purchased battery, this will give me another 10 sets of batteries fully charged, which equates to another 20 6S batteries that I don't have to purchase. There is a lot of good information in this manual that I provided a bunch of screenshots on as far as charging, maintaining, and putting multiple of these batteries in parallel and series. And as always, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.